Gauteng Provincial Government has honoured 5 women, former cabinet members, for their contributions to democracy and the fight against apartheid. Former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Naledi Pandor, former Minister of Social Development, Lindiwe Zulu, former Minister of Tourism, Lindiwe Sisulu, former Minister of Women, Youth and Children, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, and the current Chief Justice Mandisa Maya have received an award in recognition of their work. For more, our reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa joins us now from Constitution Hill in Johannesburg. Good afternoon, Mbalenhle. Just talk us through what's happening there today.
Well, certainly the people that you have outlined in the intro have received an honorary, something that to honor the work that they have and the contribution that they have made to South Africa's democracy. But what did come out of today is that today is a bittersweet moment, given that there is that repatriation of the bodies of those who perished outside of South Africa during the struggle against apartheid. And some of the people who spoke here said that they are pleased with government's efforts to repatriate those remains and hope that more remains will be brought back to South Africa. But that was not the only issue here. You know, the Constitutional Hill is once held the women's prison during the apartheid era, and some remembered the most painful experiences of coming to visit their parents. Lindiwe Sisulu saying that her mother was incarcerated at this prison for a year and a half, and it was absolutely painful, and she felt very gutted when she entered the building here. And she has actually thanked government for putting this whole precinct into good use and turning it into a place of justice, and where matters are heard and where justice plays out in the public eye and people are served. I'm joined by Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, and we will remember her as former Minister of Home Affairs, former Minister of Cocta, former Minister in the Presidency for Women, Children and Youth, that very long portfolio. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us and your patience. You spoke about the pain of being here and how this is a bitter-sweet moment. But how do you feel about being honored at the very same spot that brings you so much pain and yet so much joy?
Well, I think it's very significant that we are honored here at Constitution Hill, because Constitution Hill embodies our entire history. It embodies the pain, the oppression, but it also embodies the liberation, justice, and hope and resilience of the people. So I'm happy that they chose this place, because it also teaches young people where we've come from, not just where we are, but where we come from and where we are going.
Most certainly. You know, when you talk about people needing to know about the past, you know, what sort of messages would you like to bring to the youth of today? And what would you like for them to know more than anything?
Well, I want them to know that lots of people sacrificed, and some of them died for our freedom. But amongst them were young people who took part in the struggle. And I think young people today must also defend what we have. Young people must push the frontiers. They must push the frontiers of education. They must be skilled. They must be part of our economy in all sectors. And they must be part of our political areas. They must be in all areas of human endeavor.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm so sorry, we are running short of time and we've got more people that we do need to speak to. But I think that was a very strong message to the people, to the young people, to remember that this is a hard-earned and hard-won democracy that we enjoy today. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Naledi Pandor. You have done exceptionally well. in cabinet. And you have actually put South Africa on the international stage with the case at the IEC court, at the International Criminal Crimes Court. And my question to you is, when you hear that UNESCO has declared all of the Mandela-related heritage sites as, World Heritage Sites, and you call on government to manage those and better manage, and especially looking at the state of Kliptown, how do you feel that these places have been, left unmaintained and untaken care of when they hold so much value in terms of the history of South Africa?
I think I do feel sad that we don't always maintain the World Heritage Sites, and perhaps it's a lack of appreciation of the importance of a site being inscribed by UNESCO. Doesn't happen every day. Not many countries have the number of sites we have declared. So I think we should regard them as a source of pride and recognition for the people of South Africa, more particularly for the struggle that they waged against apartheid. And for them to be regarded in this way by the global community, and for those sites that mark a great deal of our history to be so recognized is an incredible acknowledgement of our people. And so I think government really has a responsibility to take this inscription very, very seriously, to protect the sites, to maintain them, and to ensure that they become an asset.
Certainly. Thank you so much. We are running out of time. Lindiwe Sisulu, thank you so much for speaking to us. You said this morning was a very painful experience as you looked for your mother's cell. Talk to us about that experience of being away and knowing that your mother is incarcerated.
It's a difficult one. I try to live my life outside of those constraints under which the apartheid state made life so miserable. And I came here this morning and I looked at the place. It's the stone. It's just so hard and brutal. And I tried to imagine what my mother was going through when she was here. And at that time, I had left the country. I was in exile. And she was here at home with my two brothers and sister. And I only learned about it long afterwards. So I think that it was somewhat easier for me to accept it when I learned about it. But I have come to this place looking for her cell. I've been in her cell. And I realized that if I had it my way, it wouldn't be so easy to forgive. But for the sake of the nation going forward, we've had to forgive. So I'm part of those who've forgiven the worst possible crime against humanity, and it's exacerbated by the fact that those who were opposed to it were inevitably incarcerated. I was incarcerated in John Foster. And I don't want to wish it on anybody. My mom was diabetic, so the conditions under which she lived here would have been very, very bad for her. But she lived it out, and I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of the freedom steps that my family has taken.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Unfortunately, we're limited for time and we have to speak to everyone. Thank you so much. Minister Zulu, thank you again for taking the time to speak to us. You spoke about not being there for your family, while, you were away fighting in the struggle and you were based in Tanzania. Then you come back and you are busy and you are away again. Your family, you thanked your family for having tolerated and been patient with you. How do you feel about receiving such an award after all the sacrifices? It's not just the personal sacrifice, but it's also a sacrifice that your family had to endure.
It's very exciting and appreciative of
the initiative by the Gauteng government to have done that. I'm also hoping that they'll be able to do that for quite a number of women, because this is just but a few of many of us who sacrificed the same way. But also quite historical was the fact that all of us who were here were women who were in exile, and today we're receiving the remains of those who passed on in exile. So this honor comes right at the opportune time. I'm hoping that for the younger generation, they'll go and dig into our histories. How did we get to be? Why did we even receive these kind of awards? And I'm sure that in the history to come, they will see it as an example of what to do as service to the nation of South Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you. There you have it. That is 4 of the recipients of the award today. Justice Maya Angelou received hers in her absence. And for now, it is back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much, Mbalenhle. I'm certain that if any people were unsure why exactly Constitution Hill would be the most perfect place to have and honor these women, we heard what Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma had to say there, that Constitution Hill embodies our history, the pain as well as the liberation. Most certainly a bitter moment, but a great honor for these women.